Not a new you, a new way. Rewire Your Responses for 2026. Introduction. Welcome to a different kind of beginning. This isn't about gritting your teeth and promising to become a brand new person on January 1st. We've all felt the letdown of that blank slate fantasy, the one that fades by February, leaving us feeling like we've failed again. But what if the problem was never you? What if the secret wasn't in tearing yourself down to rebuild, but in learning a smarter, kinder way to move through the world? This book is founded on a single, powerful idea: the issue isn't your character, but your patterns. Those automatic reactions, the stress spiral that hijacks your afternoon, the wave of overwhelm that freezes your progress, the inner critic that pipes up after a small setback, are simply old, worn-out wiring. They are habits of response, not reflections of your worth. And the most hopeful news? Wiring can be changed. Imagine a 2026 where you face challenges not with old panic, but with calm clarity. Where uncertainty feels less like a threat and more like an opportunity. That is your rewired future, and it starts not with a drastic overhaul, but with a simple shift. Think of this book not as a strict rulebook, but as a friendly map. It will guide you to upgrade your reactions, one thoughtful response at a time, so you can build a better year from the inside out. Part 1, The Foundation: Why Your Wiring Matters. Chapter 1, Your Brain's Autopilot, the Hidden Code Running Your Days. Have you ever driven home and arrived with almost no memory of the trip? Or found yourself scrolling on your phone without even deciding to pick it up? That's your brain's autopilot in action. It's a brilliant, energy-saving system that runs thousands of tiny decisions for you every day. But what if this hidden system is also running some choices you'd rather it didn't? Understanding this code isn't about blaming yourself, it's about discovering the starting point for incredible change. Every person operates from a unique response blueprint. This blueprint is the invisible set of instructions you've built over a lifetime. It tells you to tense up when you hear a certain tone of voice, to feel deflated when you see a full inbox, or to reach for a snack when you're bored. Think of it like the operating system on your phone. You don't see the code, but it determines everything that happens on the screen. Your blueprint was written by past experiences, and the great news is, you are the programmer who can update it. We can map this blueprint using a simple, powerful pattern, the triad. First comes the trigger, the email, the comment, the unexpected bill. This instantly sparks your reaction, the clenched jaw, the flood of anxiety, the angry thought. That reaction then leads to an outcome, a snapped reply, a procrastinated project, a feeling of defeat. For years, we've focused on trying to avoid the triggers or hate the outcomes. But the real power lies in the space between the trigger and your reaction. That space, even if it feels tiny, is where your freedom lives. This leads us to the most liberating truth in this entire book: you cannot control every event that happens to you, but you can always choose your response to it. A rainy day can ruin a picnic or become a cozy reading opportunity. The rain didn't change, your response did. When you feel stuck, it's often because you've confused the trigger with your reaction, believing they are the same thing. They are not. Separating them is the first, revolutionary step toward getting your power back. Imagine waking up tomorrow and, when a stressful trigger appears, feeling a moment of pause instead of panic. Picture observing your old blueprint with curiosity, like a scientist discovering a fascinating map, and then calmly choosing a new path. That moment of choice is where your new way begins. This chapter isn't about fixing a broken you, it's about realizing you have access to the control panel all along. Let's start exploring it together. Chapter 2, The Great Let Go, Stopping the Self-Improvement Treadmill. How much energy have you spent trying to become a better you? Think of the diet started with fierce resolve, the productivity apps downloaded with hope, the motivational quotes saved and then forgotten. This chase often feels less like growth and more like running on a treadmill, pouring in effort but ending up right where you started, just more exhausted. What if the path to a better 2026 begins not with running faster, but with having the courage to step off? The exhaustion from chasing a better you comes from a hidden source. It's often fueled by a quiet sense of not being enough. We use self-improvement as a project to fix a problem we think is us. This turns every setback into a personal failure and every goal into a test of our worth. It's a heavy, lonely way to live. But what if you are not a problem to be solved? What if you are a person to be understood? The moment you consider this, the entire game changes. The alternative to this exhausting chase is a gentle, powerful shift, moving from self-criticism to curious observation. Self-criticism is like a harsh, shouting coach who blames you for every mistake. Curious observation is like a friendly detective who simply wants to understand the clues. Instead of thinking, "I failed again, I have no willpower," you learn to ask, "What was happening right before I made that choice? What was I really feeling?" This isn't letting yourself off the hook, it's getting on your own team. Your first practical rewiring is this: trade judgment for journalism. For one day, your only job is to report on your inner world like a neutral journalist. No opinions, no drama, just the facts. The trigger was my colleague's email. My body reacted with a tight chest. My mind said, "They don't respect my work." Then I closed my laptop for an hour. See the difference? Judgment locks you in the pattern. Journalism gives you the data to change it. It turns your life from a courtroom into a laboratory, where everything is just useful information. Letting go of the self-improvement treadmill doesn't mean giving up on growth. It means changing the fuel from shame to compassion, and the method from force to understanding. It means building your new way from a place of self-respect, not self-rejection. As you practice this, you'll feel a weight lift. You'll find energy you didn't know you had, energy you can now use to build the life you want, not just run from the person you fear you are. The journey to 2026 starts with this single, profound act of peace. Part 2, The Rewiring Lab, Your Core Response Upgrades. Chapter 3, The Pressure Valve, Rewiring Your Response to Stress. Right now, stress probably feels like a cage. It traps your breath, tightens your thoughts, and makes the world feel small and urgent. But what if you could see that same feeling not as a cage, but as a blinking dashboard light? Stress is not a life sentence, it's a signal. It's your body and mind's ancient, powerful way of saying, something here needs your attention. When you shift from seeing it as an enemy to listening to it as a messenger, you change the entire game. Let's demystify the biology for a moment. When a stress trigger hits, a chemical wave floods your body, your heart beats faster, your breath gets shallow. Here's the revolutionary fact: neuroscience shows this intense physiological wave has a natural lifespan. It lasts for only about 90 seconds. If you don't feed it with a fearful story, it will rise, peak, and pass like a wave on the shore. Your job is not to stop the wave. Your job is to surf it. For just 90 seconds, can you notice the feeling in your body without fighting it? Can you breathe and simply wait for it to recede? This is how you stop being a prisoner to your own chemistry. Mastering the 90-second rule builds the most important skill for your new way, creating a response buffer. Imagine a tiny, sacred space, a buffer zone, between the stressful event and your emotional reaction. In that space, you have choice. Before, the trigger and your outburst were a single, fused event. Now, you insert a pause. That pause is your power. It's the moment you reclaim from autopilot. In that buffer, you can ask one simple question: what does this situation need from me? This doesn't mean you become passive or uncaring. It means you become responsive instead of reactive. Your responses become clear, intentional, and often more effective. The person who cut you off in traffic gets a deep breath from you, not a honked horn and a ruined hour. The difficult email gets a walk around the block before a thoughtful reply. You stop handing over your inner peace to every external event. You become the calm director of your own life, not the frantic actor in every scene. Think of your nervous system like a muscle. Every time you practice the 90-second rule and use your response buffer, you strengthen it. You are literally training your brain for calm. Soon, you'll start to notice the signals of stress earlier, when they're just whispers. You'll thank your body for the alert, address what you can, and let the rest go. Stress becomes a manageable part of your human experience, not the dictator of your days. Your pressure valve is always within reach. Let's learn how to use it. Chapter 4: The Clarity Circuit, Rewiring Your Response to Overwhelm. Overwhelm isn't just having too much to do, it's the feeling that you must do it all right now. It's a mental traffic jam where every thought is honking, and the path forward is completely blocked. Your brain, in its desire to help, shouts about every single task, priority, and worry at the same volume. The result? You freeze, scroll, or spin in circles. Let's rewire this. The antidote to the frenzy of everything is the focus of one thing. Introducing the one thing filter. When the tidal wave of tasks hits, pause and ask this magical question: what is the one thing I can do right now that would make everything else easier or irrelevant? Not the most urgent thing, not the loudest thing, but the most strategic thing. It might be making a single phone call, drafting the first paragraph of a report, or even deciding to drink a glass of water. This question acts like a laser, cutting through the fog of everything and illuminating a single, clear step. Take that step. Then ask the question again. Our modern world is built to shatter our attention. The pings, dings, and endless scrolls aren't just distractions, they are relentless architects building a house of frenzy in your mind. To rewire for clarity, you must become the architect of your own attention. This means designing digital droughts, short, sacred periods where you turn off the noise. 20 minutes in the morning without your phone. 90 minutes of deep work with notifications silenced. You are not missing out, you are tuning in, to your own thoughts, your own priorities, your own peace. Alongside these droughts, build your attention architecture. This means deliberately designing your physical and digital spaces to support focus. It's having a clean workspace with only the tools for your one task. It's using website blockers during work hours. It's charging your phone outside the bedroom. You are not relying on willpower, which is fleeting. You are building an environment that makes clarity the easiest choice. You are constructing a sanctuary for your mind to do its best work. All of this culminates in the strategic pause. Before jumping from one task to the next, before reacting to a new demand, institute a mandatory 5-second pause. In that pause, you return to your breath. You ask your one thing question. You consciously decide what deserves your precious energy next. This pause is the circuit breaker that prevents the overload. It's the moment you stop being a pinball, bounced by every bump, and become the player, calmly choosing your next shot. Clarity is not a luxury, it's your birthright. Let's wire your world to reclaim it. Alongside these droughts, build your attention architecture. This means deliberately designing your physical and digital spaces to support focus. It's having a clean workspace with only the tools for your one task. It's using website blockers during work hours. It's charging your phone outside the bedroom. You are not relying on willpower, which is fleeting. You are building an environment that makes clarity the easiest choice. You are constructing a sanctuary for your mind to do its best work. All of this culminates in the strategic pause. Before jumping from one task to the next, before reacting to a new demand, institute a mandatory 5-second pause. In that pause, you return to your breath. You ask your one thing question. You consciously decide what deserves your precious energy next. This pause is the circuit breaker that prevents the overload. It's the moment you stop being a pinball, bounced by every bump, and become the player, calmly choosing your next shot. Clarity is not a luxury, it's your birthright. Let's wire your world to reclaim it. Chapter 5, The Resilience Relay, Rewiring Your Response to Setbacks. We all have a mental folder labeled failure. In it, we file away the job we didn't get, the project that stumbled, the mistake we made. We visit this folder often, using its contents as proof of our limitations. The first step to true resilience is simple and radical: delete the failure folder. You are not a curator of your defeats. A setback is not a label for who you are, it is a single piece of data on your journey. Stop filing the experience as a permanent verdict and start seeing it as temporary feedback. This shift opens the door to the most powerful tool in your new arsenal, the feedback loop. Imagine every outcome, the good and the bad, as a rich mine of information, waiting for you to extract the gold. When something doesn't go as planned, you move from "why am I such a failure?" to 3 constructive questions. 1. What happened? Just the facts. 2. What did I learn? The insight. 3. What is one small thing I can adjust next time? The action. This loop turns stumbling blocks into stepping stones. You are no longer a victim of outcomes, you are a savvy scientist, always learning. Our brains love to imagine catastrophe. A small setback can trigger a mental movie where we lose everything and end up alone. To deflate this, we use the "and then what?" method. When you catch yourself spiraling into "this is a disaster," calmly ask, "and then what?" My presentation didn't go well. And then what? My boss might be disappointed. And then what? I'll schedule a meeting to discuss how I can improve. And then what? I'll apply that feedback next time. See what happens? You follow the fear all the way down and almost always find solid ground. You realize you can handle the next step, and the one after that. Resilience is not a superpower owned by a special few. It is a relay race you run with yourself. It's the act of passing the baton from the part of you that feels defeated to the part of you that knows how to get back up. It's saying, "That didn't work. What's next?" Each time you do this, you strengthen the neural pathway for courage. You prove to yourself that you are not defined by the fall, but by the decision to rise, adjust, and continue moving forward. Picture yourself 6 months from now. A challenge arises. Instead of a crushing sense of dread, you feel a flicker of curiosity. You instinctively reach for your feedback loop questions. You calmly walk through the "and then what?" steps. The setback becomes a brief detour, not a dead end. This is the rewired response. You are building a life where resilience is your default setting, where every outcome fuels your growth, and where your confidence comes not from being perfect, but from knowing you can navigate anything. Chapter 6, The Abundance Antenna, rewiring your response to scarcity and comparison. Scarcity whispers a terrible lie: there is not enough. Not enough time, money, success, or love. And comparison is its loudspeaker, constantly broadcasting evidence that other people have more of what you lack. Together, they create a background hum of anxiety that dims your joy. But what if you could retune your inner receiver? What if you could switch your antenna from picking up signals of lack to sensing the very real abundance that already exists in your life? The first step is to dismantle the comparison trap. This trap works because it makes you compare your behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. It also ignores your unique timeline. Your journey has its own rhythm, its own necessary lessons, and its own perfect timing. The promotion your friend got at 28 might have required lessons you learned at 35. Their path is not the blueprint for yours. When you compare, you are using a map of their journey to navigate your own territory. It will always lead you astray. This leads to the pivotal shift, moving your focus from "do they have enough?" to "do I have enough?" This is not a question of settling. It is a profound practice of audit. Right now, in this moment, is there food in your kitchen? A memory that makes you smile? A skill you've learned? A person who cares about you? The answer to "do I have enough?" in this present moment is almost always a quiet yes. Anchoring yourself in this present moment enoughness breaks the spell of future-focused lack. It grounds you in reality, not in fear. From this grounded place, you can actively cultivate a lens of plenty. This is a daily practice of training your brain to spot abundance. It's writing down 3 small wins before bed. It's savoring your morning coffee completely. It's noticing the color of the sky or a stranger's kind smile. It's the decision to see a challenge as an opportunity to learn, which is abundant, rather than just a hurdle to fail at, which feels scarce. You are not ignoring life's real limitations, you are choosing not to let them paint your entire world. Imagine walking through your days feeling fundamentally okay. The successes of others inspire you instead of threatening you. Your own progress, however slow, feels worthy of celebration. You make decisions from a place of "I have resources" rather than "I am desperate." This is the power of the abundance antenna. It doesn't magically give you more money or time. It does something better: it allows you to fully experience and enjoy the life you already have, while you build the one you want. Your sense of security stops being external and becomes unshakably internal. Chapter 7: The Connection Channel, Rewiring Your Response to Conflict. Conflict feels like a crash. Two realities collide, words like weapons are drawn, and the goal becomes winning the battle or retreating to safety. But what if conflict is not a crash, but a crossing? A place where two different paths meet, offering a chance to build a bridge to a new understanding. To do this, we must rewire our most basic instinct, from listening to reply, to listening to understand. When we listen to reply, we are not truly hearing the other person. We are using the sound of their voice as downtime to prepare our own defense, our next point, our counterargument. Our mind is closed, focused only on being right. Listening to understand is an act of courageous openness. It means silencing your inner lawyer and activating your inner explorer. Your only goal is to truly comprehend their perspective, their feeling, their need. You ask, "Can you help me understand?" and then you listen as if their words are a map to a hidden world. To build a bridge from your world to theirs, use the empathy bridge, a simple 3-step structure. Step 1: Mirror. Repeat back the core of what you heard, without judgment. "So what I'm hearing is that you felt overlooked when I made that decision without you." Step 2: Validate. Acknowledge the logic of their feeling, even if you see it differently. It makes complete sense that would make you feel upset. I can see why. Step 3. Explore. Now, invite collaboration. What would feel better for you moving forward? This structure de-escalates tension instantly, because it makes the other person feel seen and safe, not attacked. This gentle approach does not mean you become a doormat. The final, crucial piece is protecting your peace without building walls. Setting a boundary is not an act of war, it is an act of self-respect and clarity. It sounds like, I want to understand your point, and I need to take a 20-minute walk to process this before we continue, or, I hear your feedback, and I cannot accept being spoken to in that tone. Can we restart this conversation? You are not slamming a door. You are installing a gate, one you control, which keeps your inner peace safe while still allowing for connection. Imagine your next difficult conversation. You feel your heart rate rise, but instead of preparing your attack, you take a breath and choose to explore. You use your empathy bridge. You protect your peace with calm clarity. The dynamic shifts from combat to collaboration. You may not get everything you want, but you protect the relationship, and your own dignity. You discover that the most powerful response to conflict is not a louder voice, but a more open heart and a clearer mind. This is how we transform crashes into crossings, and build connections that are truly unbreakable. Part 3. Building Your New Way, Integration and Momentum. Chapter 8. The Energy Audit, Rewiring Your Response to Your Own Needs. We treat our bodies like rented cars, pushing them hard, ignoring strange noises, and expecting them to run on empty. But your body is not a vehicle, it's your dashboard. The low-energy warning light is that 3 p.m. fog. The check engine light is that constant shoulder tension. The fuel gauge is your mood. We've learned to silence these signals with caffeine, scrolling, or sheer willpower. But what if the secret to a better 2026 is not pushing harder, but listening better? It's time to become fluent in the language of your own being. The first step is to stop seeing your needs as inconvenient interruptions and start honoring them as essential data. That afternoon slump isn't laziness, it's a request for movement, hydration, or a 5-minute break in the sun. The Sunday night dread isn't weakness, it's a signal that your week lacks moments of true joy. When you feel depleted, the old way says, power through. The new way asks, kindly, what is being asked of me right now? The answer is almost never more work. It is usually rest, connection, nourishment, or play. To systematically answer that call, you create your non-negotiable renewal rituals. These are not another to-do list. They are small, sacred promises you make to yourself that are non-debatable, like brushing your teeth. A renewal ritual could be 5 minutes of silence with your morning tea, a 15-minute walk after lunch, or turning off all screens 1 hour before bed. Their power is not in their grandeur, but in their consistency. They are tiny pockets of the day where you refill your own cup, teaching your nervous system that you are a reliable source of your own care. This practice creates the ultimate shift, moving from depletion to sustainable output. Depletion is a boom and bust cycle, sprinting until you crash. Sustainable output is like a steady, strong river. It understands that energy, like creativity, is a renewable resource, but only if you let it renew. You start to plan your weeks with rhythm, alternating periods of focus with periods of genuine restoration. You realize that the most productive thing you can do for your biggest goal is sometimes to close your laptop and go for a walk. You become a wise steward of your own vitality. Imagine a version of you that no longer reaches Friday feeling shattered. Instead, you move through your days with a gentle, resilient energy. You notice the dashboard lights early and respond with kindness. Your renewal rituals are your anchors, keeping you steady in any storm. This isn't about achieving a state of constant bliss, it's about building a foundation of energy so solid that you can meet life's demands from a place of fullness, not emptiness. You stop running on fumes and start thriving on fuel you chose. Chapter 9, The Future Filter, Rewiring Your Response to Uncertainty. The future can feel like a vast, blank space, and we are terrified of the blank. So, we try to fill it in with worry. We believe anxiety is a form of preparation, a way to control what we cannot see. But here is a stunning biological truth: anxiety and excitement are physiologically identical. The racing heart, the butterflies, the quickened breath, your body experiences them the exact same way. The only difference is the story your mind tells. One story is, "I'm scared this will go badly." The other is, "I'm excited to see what happens." Your body is ready for action, your mind gets to label the adventure. This revelation gives you incredible power. You can choose your filter. Will you be the fearful controller or the curious planner? The fearful controller tries to lock down every detail, seeing uncertainty as a threat. This creates rigidity and panic when life, as it always does, changes the plan. The curious planner, however, holds plans lightly. They see the unknown as a landscape of possibility. They prepare, but they remain flexible, asking, "What could be interesting here?" The curious planner understands that the best stories have unexpected plot twists. This mindset allows you to approach 2026 in the only sane way possible, writing your script with pencil, not ink. An inked script is rigid. If an actor forgets a line, the whole play falls apart. A penciled script has a clear direction and key scenes, but it allows for improvisation, for better ideas, for the magic of the unexpected. Your plan for the year is your pencil sketch. It outlines your values, your goals, your direction. But it leaves room for detours, for surprises, for life to collaborate with you in writing a story better than you could have dictated alone. Practically, this looks like setting waypoints instead of rigid paths. A waypoint is a guiding point on your horizon, like cultivate more peace, explore a new skill, or deepen my connections. How you get there can change. This frees you from the tyranny of a specific, fragile outcome, like lose 20 pounds by March, and connects you to the spirit of your desire, like feel energized and strong in my body. When an obstacle appears, you don't see a failed plan, you see a new route to your waypoint. You are navigating, not railroading. Envision yourself on December 31, 2025. You look back on a year where surprises didn't derail you, they intrigued you. Where challenges were met not with, "Why is this happening to me?" but with, "What is this teaching me?" You held your dreams firmly but your plans loosely. You lived the year as a curious explorer of your own life, not a fearful manager trying to prevent disaster. This is the ultimate rewired response to the future, trading dread for devoted curiosity, and building a life that is not rigidly safe, but vitally, wonderfully alive. Chapter 10, The Integrity Integration, Making Your New Way Stick. You have new blueprints, new circuits, and a new filter. Now, we make it permanent. This happens not through giant leaps, but through the quiet, relentless power of the compound effect of micro-responses. A micro-response is the 5-second pause before you speak. It's choosing water over soda when you're tired. It's the one deep breath in a traffic jam. Alone, each seems insignificant. But just as a single drop of water has no power, millions of drops can carve the Grand Canyon. Your character, your destiny, your peace, they are all carved by these daily, tiny, conscious choices. To ensure these micro-responses add up in your favor, you need a simple system. Enter your personal wiring checklist for weekly review. This is not a report card, it's a friendly, 5-minute conversation with yourself. Every Sunday evening, you might ask, 1. Where did I use my 90-second pause well this week? 2. When did I get caught in comparison, and how did I find my way back to my own timeline? 3. What was one moment I protected my peace? 4. What's one small renewal ritual I can celebrate? This review connects the dots of your progress, shows you your own strength, and gently sets your intention for the week ahead. The final, master-level skill is to stop relying on willpower and start becoming a response architect. An architect doesn't hope people will use a building correctly, they design stairs, doors, and windows that make the right action the easiest, most natural path. You must architect your environment for your new responses to thrive. Want to reduce screen time? Charge your phone in the kitchen. Want morning clarity? Lay out your journal and pen the night before. Want to respond calmly to family? Create a pause chair in the living room where anyone can sit for a quiet minute. You design your surroundings to support your new wiring. Your environment includes your inner landscape, too. You become the architect of your own mind by carefully choosing what you let in. You curate the social media you follow, the news you consume, the conversations you engage in. You build mental structures of self-trust by keeping the small promises you make to yourself. With each kept promise, I will take that walk, I will pause before replying, you reinforce the architecture of your integrity. You prove to yourself that the person who decides and the person who does are now the same person. This is the culmination of your new way. You are no longer fighting against old reactions in the heat of the moment. You have built a life where the better response is the easier response. You have a system to track your growth and a designed environment to support it. You move through the world not as a passive reactor, but as a conscious creator, the architect of your responses, the author of your days, and the peaceful, powerful builder of a 2026 that feels deeply and truly your own. The rewiring is complete. The new way is now simply your way. Welcome home. Conclusion. You have not arrived at a fixed destination called better, because a full life is not a place you visit, but a way you travel. This book was never about a final, finished you. It was about gifting yourself a dynamic new way of moving through the world, a way defined by conscious choice, resilient calm, and deep self-trust. This is the rewired life, an unfolding journey where every moment offers a chance to practice your new way. Remember, the peace and clarity you cultivate within yourself doesn't stay contained. It ripples outward, transforming your conversations, your relationships, and your impact in quiet, profound ways. So consider this your most loving invitation. The wiser, more grounded person you hope to meet in 2026 is already here. They are the one who chose to rewire, to understand, and to begin. Carry this new way forward. The world your heart is building is waiting.